and I'm going to be joined here in a few minutes by the outgoing NIRSA President, David Davenport. Today is April 30th, as hopefully you already know. But for NIRSA, April 30th is the last day of the leadership year for our boards and our committees and many of our other leadership groups. So David's going to join me in a minute, and we're going to have a little reflection on the year. It was certainly a unique leadership year with some very big and unique challenges, but also a lot of successes. So I'm excited to hear some of David's reflections on the year. Let's see if we can get them added here, and learn a little bit more about what his leadership journey has been like. I know as I was reflecting on this last year and thinking through my tenure as executive director, I realized that I've been executive director for 9 years now, and David's actually been on the board for 6 of those 9 years. He did a 3-year term as as at-large director, and then immediately followed by a 3-year term as president. So I've had the great pleasure and opportunity to work with David for the last 6 years through the NIRSA Board. Let's see. I don't see David joining us yet, so he should be here in just a second. So I hope you all are doing well on this Friday afternoon and getting some time to reflect on the week behind us and the week ahead. Hopefully you have some good things planned for the weekend that help you fill your bucket and pay attention to your well-being. I think David's just about to join us in a second here. We kind of decided to do this a little bit last minute, but like always, we'll record it and make it available on the website next week. So we'll get started here in just a minute. It's good to see so many of you who could join us even at this last minute. So see some good friends on here. Look at all these great folks. Hi, David.
Hello.
Well, thanks for making time to do this today on this last day of your leadership journey as NIRSA President. And I was saying before, you did 3 years as at-large, right into 3 years as NIRSA President. So you've been on the NIRSA Board for the last 6 years. So how you feeling today on this last day in office?
It's bittersweet kind of. It's been a year, but it's also been one of those things that I'm reflecting like, all right, what's next? Because as you said, I've been on for 6 years. And just prior to that, I was one of the initial member network folks. 10, 11, somewhere.
Yeah.
So 10 out of, when you count that, so I've had 8 out of the last 11 years I've been in some type of position. So I'm looking like, okay, what now? And ironically enough, I'm engaged here in my community with fraternity life and Rotary life and some other committees that they're all kind of falling off at the same time. So it's okay, so a lot of stuff is almost like going to the cliff and just jumping off. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Who knows what's in store next? Well, based on that list, I think we should start with thank you for your service to NIRSA and giving so much to the association, along with those other organizations you're involved with. I think that was one of the interesting things as we worked together these last 6 years is the way you could really, pull in and then share back out some of the things you were learning and seeing and implementing in those other organizations you're involved with. It was nice to have that perspective of how other boards or other, social organizations do their work. So let's focus in on this past year. What do you think some of your proudest moments were, the biggest wins for NIRSA?
Well, for me personally, it was different. Being on the board for 5 previous years, I kind of had expectations, and then that didn't happen or wasn't happening, and I realized it didn't happen. At first, it was kind of disheartening to know that things were not going to happen the way it was. But being a man of my faith and different folks in my corner saying, "Hey, you're the right person for this time. You this," and that made me feel better. But it was, still not what I wanted, but good about it. And now reflecting You know, I scrape my knees a lot going along the process and trying to figure life out.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in a good place. I'm very tickled with and I feel proud about the work that the board's accomplished. And I say board plural.
Mm-hmm.
Boards, because you know, being able to connect with the other leadership groups, but the main board, the parent board, you know, we had a lot of NIRSA wins, and being able to, the biggest one was being able to switch to a virtual NIRSA conference. And you know, we were watching individuals and watching other organizations have fails at those same type of opportunities, and I think we led and we understood. A lot of our members reflected in positive, and that was great for us. I think. I think putting, you know, because of where we were in society, those caucuses coming together were important, and it turned out to be not just important for the association and how we move things forward, but it came important for those members having those safe spaces to be able to have the conversations that we really need to happen, and it made it a true organizational and membership based drive for me. I really like the fact that we were able to things work the way it needed to, as well as enhance the NNA we're doing. So those are just some of the main highlights that I like. But you know, what I think I like the most is the fact, and just for those who don't know, some of my NIRSA friends did a tribute to me, and I got to hear things. It feels as though that individuals want to be a part of the board now. A long time people ran away from it. I don't want to do that. Now it's like people, we've set a path that now people want to be a part of that. I think that's a big good thing for us, for NIRSA Board. So I see things. I'm going in and out because my charger, but
oh, bummer.
Yeah. So.
Getting set. Yeah.
So that's what I think so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, yeah, I just kind of two comments on what you said. You know, one with, you know, really seeing some energy for, you know, serving NIRSA through the board or one of the boards. You know, I'm noticing that too, and I think there's always this like moment where maybe there's, you know, a particular generation of leaders who, you know, are really filling those board positions through the years, and then it's kind of time for the next generation to step up, right? And there's always that little holding of the breath of like, is it our turn? Is it supposed to be our turn? Do I want to do that thing? And yeah, I think you led us really well through that transition. We've got great leaders on the boards this year, all three boards. I'm really excited about the future. The other thing I wanted to underscore that you referenced, and I've observed this a lot, that often what you do, you know, during the year or years of your board service doesn't become fully realized or visible for several years later. And that's because the board is working on strategic issues. The board is thinking about, you know, what's the world going to look like in 2, 3, 4 years, and how do we get ourselves ready? And so, you know, like you said, you know, maybe we didn't have the big stage of an in-person conference this year. And, you know, I know you had some really unique plans for doing some engagement around our history and other things, you know, had we been in Milwaukee. But I do think that the crucial decisions we made this year, the strategic plan that got put together, you know, starting the caucuses, like you mentioned, engaging in the climate study, like all those decisions the board made this year, you know, we're going to be enjoying the benefits and the positive impact from for many, many years to come. And that is a sign that the board is doing the right work, right? The board shouldn't be doing the stuff that just is this year, right? Or immediate impact. If they are, they're probably in the weeds. And I can say the board was not in the weeds this year. It was all strategy all the time. A little bit of crisis management, but always strategic. Well, I know you're a big people person. It's one of the things I enjoy most about you. So what are you going to miss about the people that you've gotten to engage with these last 6 years?
Well, primarily the last several, I'm gonna say 4, you know, and I'll just name one of my favorite people in NIRSA, but she's been on the board with me, and Jocelyn Hill,
Yeah.
I got to know her. I already knew her, and she literally watched me grow, but I got to know her from a different level, and we both went through, losses of our family members as both lost our moms. So we got to see a different side, but just she was one of those people she's like my secret service in my corner to say, hey, David, what's blah, blah, blah. We can have a phone call. So that was big. And then, of course, getting to know the annual directors that we appoint, primarily the last one, two that are coming off with me, Brian Smith and Andrea Sneed. I mean, those phenomenal individuals that I'm so glad I got a chance to work with them, because I saw a side to what they get to see and see it. It's just that exposure moments. Being able to see 5 different presidents, huge deal for me. Yeah, those are big deals.
Yeah.
Much because I think my phone's going to die the way it's flickering. It has battery, but it's flickering on and off. I don't know what's going on with it.
That's bizarre. That's really bizarre.
But, and mainly working with you, Pam. I got to work with you. I got to learn something different. It's not, that big bag nurse that everybody. You're phenomenal to work with, and looking forward to a future where we can at least, have a camaraderie and talk about life and how to move forward. So.
Yeah, so thank you for that. One of the things I think you really taught me and really inspired a culture in the board and the leadership is to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And, you started that conversation and that drumbeat, well before, the racial tensions that exploded, last spring. And so when you started talking about it in those moments, as we were building caucuses and trying to figure out how to respond and how to support members and what was our role and our place in commenting on issues around race in America and beyond, we already knew from you, we were going to have some uncomfortable conversations, and that was okay, and that we could do it together, and we could learn together, and we could be better together. Maybe not perfect, but keep putting one foot in front of the other. So I know, but others have told me too that I don't know, that's like your tagline or something, David, but it's so impactful, right? It doesn't have to be complicated to be impactful, and that has been just so impactful.
That actual tagline, I say the whole thing is keeping the head above the water and one foot in front of the other. Just tread and walk, and we'll make it happen.
Yep, keep on keeping on. Well, we don't usually do this, but we have a good audience here. So if anyone I saw a couple comments fly by. If anyone has a question for me or David that you want to throw in there, feel free. One other thing I was going to talk to you about a little bit today and reflecting on this last year is, well, you get to join the past presidents, so that's going to be fun. That's a unique group in NIRSA. And they have a big joke about just a member, right? That they go back to being just a member, although they're past presidents, they're never just members. You referenced it earlier. So as you think about, leaving these formal NIRSA leadership roles, I think often our leaders then really serve some really important, but maybe informal NIRSA roles, championing the next generation, mentoring the next set of leaders, being fundraisers and fundraisers. So what do you think that looks like for you in the next year or so?
I'm not going anywhere, so I look forward to still continue to be that who's next up chairperson from emerging leaders that are in the weeds or in the backgrounds waiting to move forward, and then pulling out talents or individuals that they may just need a little push to get forward to that. And then also, what's it like to just be a member? I'm looking forward to that, but I don't know if I can behave. So, I might have to need some help in how to be just a member. At the end of the day, I'm just going to be me and just be that person. I love to talk to people. I love to try to engage with, people in their strengths and try to help them in positive places. And I will continue to do that. So.
That's great. That's great. I think one of the special things about NIRSA is, and you hear this over and over from students and young professionals who have an opportunity to meet, a older, more experienced leader in NIRSA, maybe at a regional conference or, at ERSL or even at the annual conference. And they think they're just striking up a conversation, with a director of recreation somewhere. And then it's later when they find out like, oh my gosh, that was a past president of NIRSA, or oh my gosh, that was someone currently serving on the board or in another, somewhat prestigious role, that they're just shocked that, someone with that kind of title and responsibility, still every day, wants to engage students and young professionals and learn more about them and their story. Seneca had a great post, I think it was on his Instagram the other day, about, just taking time with students, get to know their story, let them know you're thinking about them. And I see that show up in NIRSA all the time. And you just said it again, right? This is what you'll do after being NIRSA president, is continue to create relationships, promote the profession, promote people. I hope you can read these comments. You're getting some great comments. So I have a question here. It says, what advice would you give to a first year or young professional thinking about serving the association? Sorry, could you hear me?
I would say, yeah, can you hear me? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
I would say observe, listen, learn, and get engaged. Don't hold back. Don't think you can't do it. Just jump on a committee and do the work if that's what you do it. No one's going to say no. We're not going to reject work. It's no here. You got to be, X number of years or in a certain place or work a certain step. Just if you want to do it, just show up and do it. Get it. You can't eat until you get to the table. So go ahead and get to. So.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Somebody asked if I could do something 6 years. What would I do? I think the biggest one would be is to put individuals, let everybody acknowledge who the board members are, because sometimes they just don't know who we are and who the board, particularly. If you're in the president's role, that's easy, but what about the rest of the board? How that all works and understanding on how the board and the cogs of the wheel all work together. But I would say the real workers, the people that are on the boards and on the committees that do the work, and not just the leader, the presidents and the committee chairs and individuals like that.
Yeah, that's a great point, because in the boardroom, of course, the president facilitates the meeting, but in terms of like the input and the crucial conversations and the thoughtful leadership and contributions to strategy, it really is 7 or sometimes 8 we have equals around the table making those decisions, stewarding the strategic plan. The president has the extra responsibility of facilitation, and then all of the external kind of public speaking and representing NIRSA opportunities on top of it. And then they have the, horrible job of managing me. But, in that boardroom, which not often, people don't often get to see, I've always felt like it's, all equal voices in the contributions to strategy and decision-making. So that's good. Well, anything else you'd like to share? Yeah.
Just say, glad we had the opportunity before my phone dies. I'm glad the individuals are chiming in on the front, hanging out with us for a quick minute. It's here, and I'm glad that one, I survived it, but two, I think through it all, we came out on top of a lot of situations. But at the end of the day, we still got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to that growth and that work, and I can help. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get to go too far, because David is one of, I think, about 12 members on our steering committee for the climate study. So you may not be in the boardroom with me this next year, but we will be working hand in hand along with those other great members of the steering committee on the climate study. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
All righty, my friend. Well, happy Friday. Take care.
Yep. You too.
Sounds good.
I am going to, I play golf this morning. Play golf tomorrow before the rain comes. So.
Get it in now. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Hey,
bye, NIRSA Land.
Be good. Thank you.